What is up, guys? Welcome back to the F1 Championship Series. We are here in the ever so sunny Bahrain under the floodlights, and we are looking to get back to doing what we did in the first two races. I mean, we had pretty strong races in Australia and China, so hopefully in the track that I'm fairly familiar with and I quite enjoy, hopefully we'll be able to do a little bit better and hopefully improve on our championship efforts. I mean, obviously the top six always the same. We managed P8. We couldn't quite pip Felipe Massa for the P7, which is our objective in a sense, just so we can always get, just so we do pass our objective in this championship and also the best of the rest. So I mean, if we can at least manage P7, which is going to be our ultimate goal throughout the entirety of the season, then obviously that would be absolutely fantastic for ourselves. But we're going to go on to the formation lap now, and PA got Sergio Perez just behind us. We're going to not really struggle from him. I mean, I think, if anything, we can probably challenge Red Bull and not have to worry about, threats from Williams and Force India and stuff like that. So, if we can challenge Mercedes and Ferrari, that'd be awesome. But I don't really see it happening. So, we're going to focus on Red Bull throughout the rest of the season and just do what we can to try and get up to their level. If we can consistently beat them, then that'd be fantastic, because depending on where I finish in the championship and depending on where Red Bull finish in the championship, basically whoever I pick for a modern season next time will depend on where I finish and where the teams finish. So that's going to be interesting to see. But obviously I'm pretty sure the one after this is it's a classic championship, so that's going to be interesting to see and decide on what I'm going to do with that. But we're going to pull up to our starting grid in a very lonely P8. We're a little bit off centre than we should be, but we're going to wait for all 5 lights to come on, and we release the clutch and we are underway. We look like we got an initial getaway that was actually pretty good, but Sergio Perez just absolutely steamrolls me and Felipe Massa. So Perez got off to a fantastic start. We're going to hold it down the inside. We're probably going to damage a little bit of our front wing. Massa goes into the side of Perez, so Massa actually ends up going around Perez as well. So Perez gained off the starting line and actually didn't manage to maintain any of what he was able to do. We're going to have a look at the two Red Bulls are just ahead of us now. Verstappen's going to have the inside line against Ricciardo, but Ricciardo is probably going to hold that as we continue, and so he does. Going on to lap 4, you can see we're keeping up with the Red Bull. We've got a massive gap to Sergio Perez. So like I said, we have no worry about the cars behind. We just have to focus on the Red Bulls that are ahead of us. And we're getting pretty close to Max Verstappen. I think we're close enough to dive, and we do. We're going to bang tyres a little bit. We're going to take that position off of Max Verstappen. So that puts us up into P6, in between both of the Red Bull cars. We're going to come into the pits before we start lap 6. We're going to just take it nice and easy, because the last 2 episodes we have almost risked the penalty coming into the pit lane, and I do not want to risk that, especially considering it's a very short pit lane from deaccelerating all the way down the start finish straight. But we're going to get out and we're going to come back more or less last as Ericsson goes past us, Verline, and also Alonso's going to be ahead of us, and Van Dorn is also going to overtake us. So we are plumb last in this Bahrain Grand Prix. So we pit a little bit early. Usually you pit on lap 6 and 7 are the 2 laps you usually pit in a 25% race, but we wanted to get the undercut if at all possible on the Red Bulls, but it didn't really quite work out. Ricciardo is there. He is stuck behind the two back markers in a sense. So you got Fernando Alonso and I believe it's Pascal Wehrlein who's going to hold Ricciardo up, and in doing so we have actually made so much ground on Daniel Ricciardo coming into the last sector. So Alonso and Wehrlein have done us an absolutely massive favour in allowing us to actually catch up to Ricciardo. But Verstappen's in the pits now. It's going to be quite close, obviously with us being held up, but we're going to go down the inside. We're not going to make it work. We're actually going to go side by side. We squeeze Alonso out just a little bit, but we just followed Ricciardo through just because I wasn't going to lose ground to him. He'd absolutely rocket off into the distance, but what we've done is actually paid off. There's Max Verstappen coming out of the pit lane. We're going to go, I guess, 3 wide, you could class it as that. But we're going to take 5th place into turn 1, and that's going to be a solid position for us. I mean, P5, that's a fantastic job, but we're going to be under pressure from Daniel Ricciardo, who is trying to go down our outside into turn 1. We're just going to give him a little bit of a nudge, give him a bit of a squeeze. I'm not sure how close Max Verstappen is. I don't think he's too far behind, but Kimi Räikkönen is now actually in 4th place. So Kimi hasn't actually won this Grand Prix, which is, you know, usually he wins, but it's actually Lewis Hamilton who actually bags the win for the Bahrain Grand Prix. So for the first time this season, it's not Kimi Räikkönen who's standing on the top step, which is, I wouldn't say odd, but so far it has been all Kimi Räikkönen. We're going to come home for P5. We absolutely annihilate the Red Bulls. Jolyon Palmer not so much. He's nowhere to be seen, bless his little heart. But a P5, that's a solid result. Considering we're aiming for P7, if we can do better than that, then obviously, you know, we're going to be doing great. But Toto Wolff obviously celebrating his first win of this championship. It wasn't a bad race. I mean, compared to the last 2 races where, like I said in the China video, I was getting bored. I actually quite enjoyed, because around here Red Bull were a lot quicker, and I had to defend a few more times. But there is our championship leader, Kimi Räikkönen, coming in 4th place as we get out of our Renault, just behind the Red Bull of Daniel Ricciardo. But not a bad result for Mercedes. I mean, a 1-2 in Bahrain, that's obviously, they need that to kind of keep their championship going. Ferrari have just dominated absolutely so far this season. They need to actually get something going for themselves. But Vettel gets a podium, which is obviously good for him if he wants to try and actually catch up to Kimi. So it's a weird contrast compared to real life that Kimi is actually smashing the championship. Vettel not so much. Mercedes aren't actually anywhere to be seen. But there's the classifications. We look at the standings, and like I said, Vettel's nowhere to be seen really. It's very weird, but obviously it's good for Kimi and obviously Ferrari to be able to be on those amount of points. There's not much in the constructors. Mercedes are only 15 points behind. We're not that far behind Red Bull, actually 11 points. So that's good for us. We're ahead of both of the Red Bulls, which is obviously what we want to be in the championship. We're well above our P7 prediction. But anyway, that's been it for Bahrain. Until next video, guys, I'll see you then. Bye bye.